Out here on the public sidewalk, doing some filming. Heading on up to Family and Children Services of Renfrew County, where the tyrants hang their hats during the day. Tyrant number one, Jeff List. And this whole thing started with Jeff about 4 years ago, when my ex decided to try to run over my wife and stepdaughter with her car, screeching to a huge halt beside them. Started yelling them, calling them names. You fucking bitch, I got you bitches, taking pictures. Well, I reported that to the OPP, and they went and took the pictures off my ex's phone. And then they phoned child services because the child was involved. Because guess what? My son was in the back seat of my ex's car. When she did that, when she assaulted my wife and stepdaughter. The child services did nothing. Child services did nothing. And that was pretty much the end of my visits from 4 years ago. Because I complained, they didn't do nothing. Child services decided to cancel my visits. So a couple of years later, started working with Jennifer Tremblay, tyrant number 2. I'm begging her to get visits started. Begging and begging and begging. When the only thing we really did get is a chance to go see his teacher about 2 years ago. Now, my ex has been using the excuse of severe autism, and that's the reason why my mother, my son's grandmother, can't see him, because strangers scare him. That was her excuse in court. That was her excuse to court why child services is no longer allowed to see my son, because they scare him. And they bought it. And they fucking bought it. Well, we go see his teacher, and the first thing we asked, me and Jennifer Tremblay, was, what program do you have my son on regarding severe autism to assist in his learning? The teacher and the principal said straight out they never heard of severe autism. They weren't told. They were just told it's very mild and nothing to worry about. And nothing to worry about. Well, that was a big lie in court. Trying to alienate me from my own family? Well. So that was a problem. I complained about that. So they blocked my emails, child services. Because I emailed too much, apparently, trying to ask questions. So again, we go to court, finally get another court date. Well, 3 years ago we had a court date. Bobby Keefe, tyrant number 2. I told him straight out, she's going to lie, and you have to stand up for the best interest of the child and call this woman out on her lies, because I can't. The judge doesn't listen to me because I was defending myself. And I'm not a lawyer. Well, holy smokes. Next thing you know, she stands up in court and says, yeah, I've missed dozens and dozens of visits. And yet I have an email saying I haven't had a visit since 2017. Well, that's a lie designed to alienate me from my son. And again, Bobby Keefe, I looked right at him in court and I said, stand up, man. Stand the fuck up and say something. He wouldn't even look at me. Well, I tried to complain about that. Guess what? Bobby quit on me a week later because he got his feelings hurt. Because his feelings are more important than what's right for my son and his mental health. All their feelings are more important for the betterment of my son, instead of what's good for my son. The best interest of the child is not even a thing here. Not even a thing. So again, Jennifer Tremblay, tyrant number 2, We're in court over the phone. And again, this was just last September. And again, my ex's lawyer states that I've canceled dozens and dozens of visits. Well, holy smokes. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. She didn't say anything for the best interest of the child either. So now we're back here. Now I just got my visits back in March, and I'm forced to sign a letter stating that I can't talk about playing sports outside because he's an 8-year-old boy. He's automatically going to revert to what he remembers when he was with his dad last 4 or 5 years ago. He was at the yard. I got a big yard. He loves kicking the soccer ball around at 3 and 4 years old. Loves the batting cage. That's all he talked about. He wanted bats for Christmas. Well, he got them. Well, he got them. And that's all he wants to talk about. But his mom overheard our conversation. And next thing you know, those exact same things are on the list of things that I'm forbidden to talk about, or I lose visits with my son. Or I lose visits with my son. So that's strange. That's absolutely strange. Now my ex has taken away what my son wants to talk to with his dad. So I complain about that, and I complain too much. And again, I just told Jeff List, sends me an email saying I'm threatening him and his staff. Well, I phoned him up and I said, well, you better call the OPP, Jeff, because you can't do that. You can't threaten somebody. You better call the OPP. I'll be waiting for him. And he's like, wow, you threatened to put all this stuff on the internet. I said, no, I promised you I was going to put the stuff on the internet. I didn't threaten you. I promised you that it was going on the internet. So he cancels my visits. Because his feelings are more important than the best interests of my son. Absolutely ridiculous. These fucking tyrants, let me tell you. Let me tell you. So don't phone 613-735-6866 and ask any questions about this. Please don't. Because these people have feelings. And when you hurt their feelings, they destroy families. 54 hours total. In 7 years I've seen my son. And that's not parental alienation? Her forbidding me from even talking about extra visits, which is a form of parental alienation. That's not parental alienation according to child services. No, and they don't have the right to intervene, they said. They have no right to intervene. Legally they can't, I've been told. And that's a big old bunch of bullshit. Bunch of fucking Karens, let me tell you. Let me tell you. There's a whole bunch more tyrants here. Whole bunch more. Still on public sidewalk, Jeff. In case you feel the need to call the cops for trespassing. I'm gonna walk through this public parking lot too. 77 Mary Street. Pembroke, Ontario, home of the tyrants. Home of the tyrants. Nice day. We'll head on over to the visitation center. I'll tell you about Christine McInnes, the other tyrant over there.